So when I said we were going back to the barn when we had more context, I meant we would talk to the king and find out about Beckon from him. And here is Beckon's journal. How about that? Right then in the springtime, following the Battle of Lonely Mountain, they say I saved His Majesty. Maybe I did. But at what cost? And what coin did I pay that debt? Summer. Armor. I wear it to protect myself against the enemy's blows. Yet, what will I wear to armor myself against mine own thoughts? Fall. Brown turn the leaves in this dismal season. Look at me, for pity's sake. I sound now like I'm some mincing minstrel, overreaching for a rhyme or a reason. Winter. It is done. Even my sword now grows rusty. In fact, it's ironic that it says sword here, because in the original game, sword is like the only weapon skill he can't learn. Good job, guys. Even my sword now grows rusty. Or maybe that's symbolic. Like he's so done with swordsmanship that he won't even pick it up ever again. I dishonor my compatriots. I must find solace in the mountains. Perhaps their echo will fill my heart once again. I will go to Eramon. So now we know where Beckon is. Surprise, surprise. Also, Beckon can use swords in this mod because, actually, I had to adjust his abilities a little bit. Anyway, so here's a leather cloak. And in the original game, this is just called, like, Map 2 or something. Whenever I was looking through the database, there were a ton of maps that were just completely unused, but they all actually function as maps. Like, if you obtain them legitimately, they will fill in pieces of your world map in the pause screen. So I looked at each one individually to figure out what regions they covered, and I named them appropriately, so now you know which maps you're getting. And I distributed them to shops all over the kingdom. So now all the maps can be legitimately obtained. There's no real reason to get them. I made them inexpensive, so you can kind of like collect them if you want, but there's no real point to it, because you can just fill in the map on your own. But let's visit the couple of shops up here, and I can show you what I've changed for them. Hey there, guy. How's it going? Open for business? Blah, blah, blah. Want to shop? I should probably read their dialogue, huh? So this guy has a few more potions than he did. Potion values were like the one thing in the database I could not change. Like, I don't know why they don't exist until the game compiles itself as from the ROM, but the best I could do to compensate for them with like the reduction in gold intake was to make them all sell for half price. So yeah, that was all I could do for flasks and things. This guy has the bows. You can buy the Banner of Bornea here now. If you're looking for a challenge run, you can pick up a couple of amulets of pork. This is the worst item in the game. It reduces your health and makes you a worse warrior, and it makes you take double damage from physical attacks. Isn't that great? See, here's the farmer's hat. Like I said, now we can buy more of them, and I think I'm probably going to. You weren't able to get this kind of equipment here before. All of this stuff is new. It used to be just potions and these regents, and that was it. But now you can get suited up a little better, and I think we're gonna, but not just yet. Oh, I pushed a different button than usual, and hey, it's telling me that he's selling it for more than usual. Interesting. I didn't know you could do that. I learned something about Aidyn today. You can push up C to see if the shopkeeper's ripping you off. Let's see what this guy has. Open for business, blah, 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 I don't care. He's got clubs and daggers. He used to have better stuff, and I nerfed his inventory to things that are more appropriate to this time, including spikes. So spikes are a weapon that you can get in the original game. You can only find them in Tamberlane's store in Terminor, because like the only enemies that use them are Magicores and Chaos Scouts, and they will never drop them. But here's the thing. Spikes are a unique throwing weapon that can be used at any range. No matter how close you are to the enemy, you can still throw these at them. That's why Chaos Scouts can attack you from right up your butt if they want to. But I also made a custom weapon for them called the Chaos Thorn that is poisonous and deals chaos damage. It was meant to help them be more relevant, but when I gave it to the Scouts, since it's a custom throwing weapon, it has the regular throwing weapon rules where if you get too close, you can't use it. So what I did instead was I swapped the stats of the spikes and the Chaos Thorn, so now the spikes cannot be used in any range, but the Chaos Thorn can. And that's why the spikes have a different icon than they usually do. Normally they would have like a little dart, like this poison dart has. Instead they have the question mark, because you can't change these icons, and that question mark is like the default icon of the unused weapons in the database. Anyway, there's like some other stuff. You can get some armor. Here's one of the custom armors I made. This is what boars wear, and also what you can find off them if you're lucky. It's not very good armor, but whatever. They don't need good armor. And there's some shields, beast pelt, whatever. That's this shop. So, normally when I play this game, I have like a bajillion restrictions in place, because the game is really easy if you don't like make it more challenging in certain ways. Cha-ching. But we're not going to do that this time, because I want to focus on the story and the mechanics and things that I changed. So I actually intend to break this game wide open. But to do that, we need to first get some starting capital, and that means we're going to go kill a bunch of giant rats. Just to get some XP to get things rolling. Normally I would go in Cedric's basement and grind up on some giant bats, but now they're actually dangerous, so that's a bad idea. And that is also another reason why I was happy and totally fine with making giant bats into glass cannons, because the best grinding spot in the early game is Cedric's basement, where the bats are free and easy, and now they ain't so free. So, if we continue along this path that I did not take the first time, it would have been safe coming into Guernia, but now if you go over here, there's this nasty little wolf pack hiding in the trees. There it is, see it? Just stepping over there. I'm convinced that this encounter is like a prank on the developer's part, because these guys are way too hard for any early game party to handle. Like, if you walk fresh out of Guernia into this fight, you're gonna lose some party members, like, right off the bat. And while I feel that it's pretty rude, I also think there was an ulterior motive to making this extremely difficult encounter appear here. You see, if this path is blocked, it makes the player more inclined to take another one. And you see that scraggly tree in the distance right over there? Check out the draw distance on this tree. You can still see it. It has not vanished yet. There. That's the draw distance on that tree. I think they want you to come down this path and spot this very suspicious looking tree. It's a lot different than the other foliage around here, so it does kind of stand out. And it marks the bottom of this hill, which is probably the first place you would be likely to go if you couldn't beat these wolves. And when you get up here, you find this creepy little camp. And there's this spooky flag with a skull on it. And there's this pile of bones that seems to have chains poking out of it. And there's this guy whose lower half is ripped off, and he's nailed to a tree. And there's a treasure chest that I am not even going to attempt to open, because it's going to explode in our faces. How very mysterious, indeed. Report. You are certain he has found our camp? The mistress will not be pleased. We must be more careful with this boy. More careful indeed. Soon he will be hers. Dun dun dun. And that's like the earliest you can see any Chaos Monsters. Well, apart from the vision before. Hello, rat. We're going to beat you to death. Big old rat battle. Oh right, Brenna's all worn out because I had her opening chests and stuff. Oh, I can't equip any better stuff for her either. If she gets chewed, it'll be okay. We'll just be careful. They're rats. They're not terribly threatening. Gonna get on up here. Alan's still got that stupid little club. We can give him something better. After all, Brenna gave us that battle axe for a reason. Yeah. Now let's see. I'm gonna have Rada continue using pole, and Brenna's actually gonna be our throwing character. So that leaves a Brecken with the sword. I like to divide up who's using which weapon types, just to take advantage of each pool of them, basically. And this is the best thing a Brecken can use right now, so why not? Ready to get all up in there and smack a rat. This is pretty much the best fight to start out with, because these enemies are really weak, and they give you a boatload of experience. Well, I mean, a boatload comparatively. It's enough to get you started. And a heck of a lot easier than those freaking wolves, man. So much easier. That rat probably should have died from that. Let's see if Brenna can finish it off. How you feeling today, Brenna? Can you hit it? Yeah! Throwing weapons are pretty garbage most of the time, not gonna lie. But sometimes you get lucky, and basic enemies like these, you don't have too much trouble hitting them. I say as Rada immediately misses the rat. Chop chop! Oh, Alaron, you suck. You need to improve your half-foot ability, sir. But that's another thing these rats are good for, target practice. Whenever you start a new weapon skill, it can level up on its own sometimes, just by the characters using them. And I've only seen them go up to 5 on their own like that. I don't know if they could go higher. They might be able to, but if they can, it's exceedingly rare, because I have never seen it happen in any of my playthroughs. But yeah, it's possible that weapon skills can improve on their own, which saves you XP in the long run, so it's a good idea to just practice with your weapons and level them up that way. Choose a weapon type, stick with it, and you'll see the change over time. Die, rats, die! Normally when I do my challenge runs, I start with Godric and Rada instead, since that party is really inadequately prepared for battle, and the road to Aramon is exceedingly hard with the 2 wizards. A Brecken makes things easy, even when he's nerfed like this. So he's gonna make this more of a cakewalk, and wow, that would have actually killed it in 1 hit if he'd gotten it the first try. Okay, and now we have to run all the way over the hill to get to the other monsters. Yes, I have run out of things to say. It's gonna happen sometimes. There will be periods where I have just nothing to say at all. And you'll just have to deal with that. And watch me kill all the monsters. Would have been nice if more of these rats ran away. You can see the yellow box around that one in like the reinforcements column. That one left before it ever even joined the battlefield. It's definitely preferable that the enemies leave on their own instead of you having to kill them. But for now, we just gotta slog our way across the battlefield. We'll get there when we get there. The rats are all slow too, so this is just like the slowest charge. But they're basic enemies, what do you expect? They're not going to be action-packed. Things get much more interesting later. It's an RPG, it's all about the grind. Run over here, Renna. Hit that same rat, right in the face. Ah, you missed. You were doing so well, sweetheart. Almost there. Definitely going to be focusing on getting dexterity up first. They are unacceptably slow. Even a Brecken is not nearly as fast as he once was. He used to be faster than Brenna. Then I said, nope. Yeah, throw that one. I probably shouldn't put her in this position where these rats can just walk up and bite at her. But I did it. See, she's fine. That one couldn't even reach her. Darned rat. Chop! Have we even been hit yet? I don't think we have. That's okay. I don't think rats need to be relevant anywhere beyond like the very, very start of the game when Aileron is by himself. After that, they're just free experience, like they were always meant to be. Unlike the giant bats, which I ruined that for. Get up there, Rita. Keep going. Smack it. Smack that rat. Yeah! Oh, I'm glad she's far enough away she can still throw at this one. She's doing some work with those daggers, you know that? Usually I see her getting like 1s and 2s. She's been hitting for like 9s and 10s. I didn't even change anything. Yeah, you better run, you little turd. No, come back. I want to use you for weapon practice. Yeah. It's always a crapshoot whether your weapons will level up on their own. Sometimes you'll go like the entire road to Aramon and never see it happen, and sometimes you'll see it happen twice in the same fight, for the same person. It's all just random chance. But you gotta take those chances. So they will eventually pay off. Aileron leveled! That's great. We're gonna save all this experience though, because... Oh hey, we got the rat tail. That'll sell for a decent chunk of change. There's our first rare item. Hooray! So now, as I was saying, I wholly intend to break this game wide open and make it as easy as possible for myself by using all the exploits I'm aware of. And the easiest one that you can do for yourself is the double healer exploit. We're going to learn how this works in just a second here, once I get back into Cornea and we tutor ourselves in those abilities. I'm going to give them to Aileron and Brenna, because they, well, spoilers, they are the two characters who are going to be with me the entire time. The others will be coming and going, eventually. Not via death. I don't intend to let anyone die unless I absolutely have to. And there are 2 cases where that will be true, but you'll see. You'll see why. Don't want to say too much. I'll just keep you in suspense about who's dying, and the people who know this game will already be aware. Although I guess even the people who know it wouldn't know who I would kill for the second one. Or why. Well, I mean, they might know the why. Blah, blah, blah. Like to train a skill. So, healer. Yes. And, oops, wrong button. Oh yeah, I have to use the the keyboard buttons. Healer. Okay. So when you've got 2 healers in the party, here's the thing you can do. First we go to Aileron's healer, and we say lay on hands. Oh, Brenna's looking bad. Healed her by 7. And notice his health goes down by 3 every time. Every time he heals her, well, she's already maxed. But every time he does, he loses 3 health. And now everyone is fine except for Aileron. He's not doing so well. Oh, but what's this? Brenna has healer skill. Oh, there you go, Aileron. Now Brenna's health is down by 3, and Aileron's is going back up. She healed him by 5. Oh, but now Brenna's tired again. Oops, I just hit the wrong button. Ah, it's dark. I can't help. Yeah. I pressed the wrong button again. Ah, keyboards and controllers. That's all so confusing. But you can see very clearly why this is utterly broken. You can just keep healing people back and forth until your party is full health and only one person has suffered 3 damage. I didn't mean to snort there. This only gets more convenient the longer you go into the game, because higher level healing ability just raises how much you can heal the person without raising the cost. So it's always 3 health to boost them by however much, and it always works out. There's no way it can't. So that's what I'm going to do. I hope you don't mind. Heal cheesing is the way to go. Hiya, Cedric. Well, what brings castle folk to my inn? Are you hungry? Thirsty? Weary from the road? If so, you've come to the right place. Would you like a meal in a room? Look can you tell me about the town? Don't take everything you hear on the streets at face value, lad. Folk will say anything. You look troubled. Trouble? In this establishment? Ridiculous! Nothing could be further from the truth. Why, you won't find a better resting place in this kingdom, not even at the castle itself. Now, whoever's been spreading that silly gossip about my cellar is, well, obviously just a no-good tongue-wagger, eager to mislead strangers. I've got nothing to hide here. What's wrong in the cellar? It's nothing. A trifle. You have no need to be afraid, or to find another inn. Those bats never come upstairs. Never interferes with the guests. At least, not very much. So, bats? Oh, yeah. Suppose I get rid of them for you. Would you? They've frightened half my customers away. You see, the cellar adjoins the caves just beyond here. There must be a hole in one of the walls. A small hole, but large enough for those treacherous bats to slip through. I can't prevent it. Certainly not without going to the caves myself. And I am certainly not going to the caves myself. Certainly not. Don't worry, sir. I'll be glad to help. You do, and I'll make it worth your while. Cedric's not one to overlook a kindness, squire. And I'd better start right away. The bats keep coming back, though almost as if someone had trained them. Alright, let's go find some bats. Bats!